Hey guys, Nick here with Taco Jeep Adventures, coming to you with another install video. You can probably see in your peripheral there on the screen. Today we've got Meso Customs Hex Rack. This is the sunroof model I'll be going over today. There will be some links that kind of refer you to where you can get this product, as well as their install in their Instagram, which I've also got labeled here in the references section, but nonetheless going to go over the install. This is of course for the 3rd gen Tacoma, the 2016 Plus model. Yeah, so let's jump right in, guys. I've got all the tools laid out here in typical fashion. What's in the box I'm going to be going over with you, as well as why would you consider a Molle panel such as this, or even other modular style panel products. So I'm going to be going over that briefly, and then also why Meso Customs. I guess we can jump right into that. Meso Customs they're a pretty unique company. You have to look them up if you're unfamiliar with them. I'd be surprised if you've been searching for any Tacoma related mods and have not come across their company, because they make a pretty diverse set of products. I've got a few of theirs, on my truck. Yeah, they're a unique company. I think they've got really intuitive design concepts. They think outside the box, things that I found I needed solutions for prior to even knowing that I needed a solution, right? Just through going through lots of build related stuff on the truck. I'm like, man, I could really use something like this, right? And then you look it up. For example, inside the cab, where your driver side is, where your legs would go, under there is your fuse panel cover. And I was starting to run fuse taps, and the factory one's kind of thin. I look up these guys, and sure enough, they've got an oversized one that has kind of these built-in reliefs where you can run fuse taps through, and it's a larger cover, right? So it's just things like that clearly they've identified through the community and personal experience, and I've been looking for a while to try and find a good solution for interior storage space, and that's, I guess we can jump in. So why a Molle panel? I mean, a truck of this size, as you guys know, if you've got one and you're going out, off-roading and taking a bunch of gear camping or what have you, they're pretty limited in storage space. So Molle panels are nice in that they create an organized way to store a bunch of gear, and it could be anything. It could be, oh gosh, hunting, fishing, camping, you're taking your family and your dog or dogs out, right? And just organizing and storing things on these panels is huge, right? So that, you still have a comfortable time for yourself and your passengers to sit in the seat, not, have stuff under your feet, on your laps. All that stuff can be stored in different places. Similarly, exterior of the vehicle, that's why roof racks and bed racks have grown in popularity, because of all the storage capabilities. So yeah, there's my 2 cents on that. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, and then overall, again, kind of jumping back to Meso Customs, their quality is fantastic. Like, if you guys look, this is, I believe it's 1/4-inch aluminum, and it's powder coated. I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, what an awesome looking panel. And I know that's not what this video is about. These are custom headlights by TC Custom. Shout out to them, TC Custom Lighting on Instagram. This is a Meso Customs product which fits in these OEM style headlights, or your OEM headlights, right? You can have these put in. So they make a lot of products, and they're just top notch, guys. So yeah, what's in the box? Of course, we've got their panel, right? This thing is so solid, but light. I mean, you can tell I'm holding it here with just a few fingers or so. So yeah, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have the hardware. You're gonna have this overview. I started looking at them, like, yeah, they definitely got extra, which they've noted here. I didn't look up this QR code, but again, I'll put a link in the description for their YouTube, which explains this install. I'm assuming that's where that may take you, but you've got your jack nuts, your spacers. I think my wife's home. You've got your dome light spacer. These are gonna go on the bottom of the panel towards the rear, which I'll go over. This is going to be an install bolt for your jack nuts here. I think only 4 of these end up getting used. And yeah, so that's what comes in the box, as well as this install tool. So that's on that side. I've laid out some tools that I'm going to use for this. This is a 4mm Allen key wrench or tool. I've also got this to put on there to kind of help start running the threads down. I'm going to apply a little thread locker, probably not necessary, but a pry tool, a flathead. If you've got a pick tool, which I couldn't find, that would probably be good, and I'll show you why on the inside. So let's jump into the install. Hey guys, I thought I might show you really quickly. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole here, but you can see here I've some examples of what you would store on Molle panels. That's a first aid kit here on this side, and then that's a bridge plate which you can mount cell phones, tablets, whatever you can think of, other mounting solutions. And then I'm going to take you to the other side. And then you can see here on this side I've got both of my radios mounted to this Molle panel, right? So I can run GMRS or CB when I'm out doing group rides and things of that nature. So just a couple things there to consider for interior storage use. And yeah, I think it's great that this will make use of that space up there to store a variety of things as well. All right guys, we're live. I've got a guest star here with me today. Really wanted to be a part of this, which is cool. Yeah, I typically just roll with the punches, right? It's time consuming, and as you saw, my wife pulled up mid-statement. I try to run it once and send it, and sometimes stuff like this happens. So we've got a helper now that's going to start with next steps. So we're going to go ahead and move to the install.
Move to the install.
Yes.
So first we're going to remove the light, and then we're going to remove the covers of these.
Hey guys, so we made it. We advanced a little. I just wanted to show you. You're going to pry about here and here. You'll see these little indentations on the light. Pull down either side, and this plastic piece here is going to come down independent of this, which is going to be up there in the roof, right? So when you pull this down, that comes out. Then you're going to have access to the factory light bulb, which looks like this, and it's probably going to be hot. Oh, I'm still on. If your light was on for a portion of time while you're in there removing this, just note it's going to be warm. Be ready to catch it, and don't drop it behind the...
Don't drop it behind the seat, or else you have to take up the seat and find it.
Guess what we did, guys? So once you get through that step, you're going to see these little tabs or clips here. They're already pulled out. And just to show you, found it easiest to kind of get along the side of these and pry them away inward, away from the outside, right? Because those are pushed down, back, and over, holding it in. So if you get in there and then kind of twist this to pry it away from the edge, it came down and out, and it was able to essentially let go of this. And then you're going to have this tab here and this tab here as your final two, and then this whole piece will drop down, exposing your wiring harness and what's plugged in here, right? So that's going to be like a grayish whitish color, and you'll see it's going to clip in here, 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 and here on either corner. So you're going to want to get something a little thinner to kind of pry back there. Start working each corner up here, 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 and here, and then that harness will let go of this, and that'll be out. And now we can proceed to next steps. So this whole cover comes off. You just pry on the corner. If you've got a pick tool, that'll probably be most feasible, but a flathead works. As she said, you're just going to pull this off, and it's going to expose this metal clip. And then what do we got to do?
And you have to loosen the top and the bottom, and then you have to pull it. And then you have to pull this thing, and then you take this out.
Yeah, so essentially what she's saying is this metal clip that you can see here on the side we haven't done yet, you're pinching these together, and then when you pinch those together, what that does is it allows that clip, of course now that I've got it out, to kind of come through the face, pulling this whole thing off, right? So that's how you're going to remove this from, and show them the side that we've removed.
And this is what it looks like.
Perfect. All right, guys, so we took the install screw. You kind of thread it in to the jam nut, and then you want to put it on the install tool here and push that into place. And then what they want you to do is center it on the hole. And then once you feel like you're in a good spot, squeeze this guy all the way. And then you can unthread your install screw. All right, guys, we got our 4 jam nuts installed. One there, where the kind of the clothes hangers were from the factory. And then if you're looking at where the dome light goes, it's going to be the 2 holes closest to the rear window, not the front ones towards the front of the truck. Those are going to be your 4 mounting points. All right, guys, as you can see here, this piece is going to be what the factory harness goes through, and then the dome light frame here is going to clip into, right? Note these spacers here that come built into this frame are going to align with these bottom holes where the jack nuts are going to, or where we put the jack nuts towards the rear, right? And you can kind of see the curvature of this is going to fit along the roof like so, right? And I ended up installing the shorter bolts here, the Allen style bolts, because I mean, you can see how much they protrude, whereas the longer ones, they would have went way through there. Now in the video, it does say that the longer ones are going to go through here into the jack nuts we installed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we've got these spacers here, which are going to go to the other 2 jack nut holes where the hangers were with the long hardware, I believe. I will confirm. All right, guys, something to note. I knew something seemed off, even though these are the shortest of the screws that came in the kit. They're way too long. They're running into the roof, so these are not going to work. My assumption, I mean, looking this over, if these are true to size, which they don't look to be true to size based on the lengths that I've got here, and now I'm concerned that these longer ones are way too long. I'm going to have to figure this out. But luckily, I've got some backups that will mount this to this bracket, we'll call it, that the factory light housing clips into. So I'm going to run these, but just note, if you don't have shorter screws, there's a very solid chance that you may not have the right hardware either. Because like I said, when you go to put this up, I mean, these are really interfering with the roof. And when you look on Meso's video, they don't show this specifically. It's already installed when they go to install these screws down here. But you can pause the video and get a quick glimpse. You don't see all this back here. And I don't think I see a washer here. But nonetheless, just wanted to call that out. I'm going to install these and continue to proceed. Alright guys, unfortunately a couple of my jam nuts are spinning in place. So I had to reverse order this thing. But if you find yourself in a similar position, and it's not tight and it's just spinning in place and not allowing you to tighten the hardware down, again, Batten 500 here, you can screw, slightly thread in this and then kind of push in a little and angle down, and it'll allow you to get, you can see what it does is it collapses these outer pieces here, right? That's what that tool's essentially doing, is it's collapsing those pieces and kind of creating that X behind the metal. But yeah, if you're not getting a tight fit on one or more, you're going to have to take it out and hope that the spares you got is enough to get you through. So we're going to take the install bolt and try this again on the 2 that I'm hung up on. All right, we've got the replacements in. It was this guy and this guy that were giving me trouble. Another thing to note is just be careful on how you orient the jam nut when it collapses. It's probably best to have the X going in this pattern. Because your rectangle, it's kind of rectangular running this way, right? The hole. So you want to get a good bite on that center with an X here, X here, X here, X here, right? It's kind of crisscrossing like that. Similarly with these guys. So just FYI on that, I'm going to go really, really careful this next go around putting this back in. It's going to be the shorter ones that they provide here in the bottom with the spacers, the little black spacers. And then on this one, it's going to be the longer ones with no spacer because this bracket kind of already has it built in there. Well, guys, unfortunately, the 2 extra ones they provided are trash. Yeah, jam nuts are finicky. If you even remotely cross thread, which is, they typically seat, they're going to just spin in place. And once that starts, you're kind of screwed. I mean, I tried to get something behind here to keep it from spinning, but then it just completely destroyed it. Unfortunately, I don't have any more. Yeah, they're kind of a pain. So that one's still good. Those 2 are still good, but this one, for whatever reason, I'm just having trouble in this corner. And I'm not new to jam nuts. I mean, I did that install a while back. That one there. My old Diamondback cover utilized jam nuts all the way through for installing on my former front runner rack. So yeah, just FYI there, they're kind of finicky, guys, so I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store. I'm probably just gonna get a handful more and try and finish this one. It's just this one now at this point that keeps giving me trouble. The other three felt solid, and I thought I was on the home stretch until this one started spinning. So I'll be back. All right, guys, we got it in. I'm gonna explain how I was able to get this done, and a couple thoughts on that. But nonetheless, about to install this back, right? So this switch here is going to be oriented towards the front of the vehicle. So that should just pop in place first. We do have to, try to do this with just two hands here. We have to put this in place, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You may recall we pried that out of this square-like section here underneath this. So I'm going to do that, show you what that looks like, and then we're going to push these four back in place and make sure that these are all seated properly. All right, you guys, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's only one way you're going to get it to work because there's not a whole lot of slack on that harness. All right, that is in place. Be careful with this. I'm going to tell you, it was it didn't clip right in place as easy as you would think. I had a headlamp on to make sure that all the four clips were kind of aligned, and it's tight. So yeah, we messed with that for a little bit because the last thing I wanted to do was break it, and I don't know, man, it might I think I did. You see how easy that corner wants to come down? I'm pretty sure I broke one of them, the last one getting it in, unfortunately. So FYI on that. And then since I messed up a couple of these, right, I didn't have any extras. I had to run out and get hardware. Well, these are a metric jack nut or extension nut that they use, which is not common. So I ended up getting 1/4 by 20, and I got some longer ones than came with the kit. And what that allowed me to do, and I just got a similar size 1/4 20 bolt here, right, to replace one of these little guys, right? So pretty close in size. The ones I got are a little longer, but not too much, and I knew I had some clearance under the roof liner there. So luckily, you know, I had another, because you have, they send you the smaller bolt to thread it to collapse it with the tool, right? So I had one of those in my extras, we'll call it my extras bin. So, you know, you just want the bolt head to stick out a little bit when you collapse it, right? But nonetheless, these are a little longer, and the X, when this collapses, it creates this X, right? So this is going to be on one side of the sheet metal, and the X is going to be on the other, and that's what pinches it together when it collapses. This X is not a very wide pattern, so that's why I was really fighting it, especially in the one spot. These created a bigger X, we'll say, and just overall, it was a straight shot. So FYI on that. Try the hardware that it comes with, but know there's a backup plan. 1/4 20, and the longer size worked really well for me. So yeah, now I just got to put this bulb back in, right? And then once you put the bulb in, there's these little tabs on this clear case that go over that. You can just insert the rear and then snap the front into place, and that's a wrap. So I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all done. All right, guys, so final thoughts. Unfortunately, my bulb stopped working, so I don't have a backup. I gotta get a replacement, and I certainly did break the corner clip on there. So just be aware when you go to put that housing back in. I mean, it's really tight. So yeah, this one fought me a little bit, guys. This is a seemingly simple project, especially considering all the other projects I've done, but nonetheless would still recommend it. I mean, this is a pretty cool kit. You know, they've done a good job. Meso Customs makes cool stuff. I do wish this had some holes in it, but I'll just have to figure out ways to mount stuff to this and what I want to mount to it. There's other things that can be used, right? But nonetheless, it'd be nice to put some quick fists on here and things of that nature. Be able to, you know, put hardware through holes and screw into things, but nonetheless, man, this is pretty cool. It fits the shape of the truck well. I like how high up it is, so foreseeably, if someone's a little taller sitting back here, it really shouldn't interfere too bad. Now, with that said, if you're really tall, it probably would.
and that's probably why they have this kind of space cut out here, right? Or formed that way for taller folks who are going to be sitting in the back. But yeah, I just have my dog and little one back here 99% of the time. So no concerns there for me, really. But yeah, so I would consider some of the things mentioned here. Be careful with that housing as you put it back in here for sure. And then know that there's a plan B if your jack nuts fail. I think it would be good if there were longer ones included like this, because it was just so much easier to work with. But nonetheless, yeah, there's your, yeah, see, here's my bulb. No longer working, so I'm going to get a replacement one of those. But hope this helps, guys. As always, sorry, probably look like a hot mess. It's been a heck of a work day. But yeah, as always, appreciate the love. You guys found this helpful. I'll put some links in the description so that you guys can reference Meso Customs video install. Theirs is a little bit shorter, straight to the point. So yeah, hopefully if you get one of these kits, everything's included in it and it's a little easier for you guys. Certainly a cool kit. Nonetheless, take care.